Good evening. Those of you who don't know me, my name is Bruce Orsino.
Yay, Bruce!
How many of you were here from the middle school when I was there? For you, I'll speak more slowly. As Dr. Charton said, this is usually a time to roast, or you could be serious. And I've decided that I'd be serious. Anita, you've been with the middle school over 45 years. You're finally going to graduate. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the commencement exercises for the class of 210 and Anita Di Vittorio. I want to discuss one of our seniors, and I mean senior. Anita. She knows more about computers than anyone I know. Recently, she had a password audit. She told me that I asked her what her password was, and she told me it was Mickey, Minnie, Pluto, Huey, Louie, Dewey, Donald, Goofy, and Sacramento. I said to her, why such a long password? She said it had to be 8 characters long with at least 1 capital. Having said that, let's take a little trip down memory lane. Most of you here tonight have had the opportunity to work with Anita. I worked with Anita. I was her vice principal. But who's kidding who? You don't work with Anita. You work for Anita. I worked for her for 9 years. Many of you do not know this, but she has a PhD in Jewish guilt. As Jack said, better than anyone, she knows the concept of guilt. If you aggravated her in any way, looked at her the wrong way, she didn't talk to you for days. Try being an assistant principal with a secretary who doesn't talk to you. She would talk to me in Spanish because she knows I didn't have a clue other than hola. I'd run to Sylvia and help me. What is this woman saying? She even treated her family that way. So many times I had to say to Tommy and Steve, guys, I'm sorry, she won't talk to you. Or Myron. Speaking of Myron, the man's been unemployed since '87. Him and his wife can buy Columbia. What's that all about? I have no idea. I used to love to comment to her about her jewelry. She'd wear the diamonds, the bracelets, the necklace. I said, you know how many people could eat in a third world country if you just sell 1 piece? Of course, she never would. She always wore those, I don't see them, but those gold shoes. I used to call them Miss Marlboro. I'm sure when I left, there were charges of harassment and sexual harassment. Sexual? Yeah, well, let me tell you. One afternoon, she left for lunch.
It's not an idea.
It's all right. This is the rated R. She returned 20 minutes later. I said to her, what'd you do, go home for a quickie? I walked away, she looked at the secretary and said, how did he know? Was it on my face? Anita has always been a professional. Those of you who remember the old school, the way it was set up, it was the counter, her desk, and adjacent to her desk were file drawers, and there was a table. So one day we're eating lunch, and in walks this parrot. The door flew open. Where's that vice principal? I want Orsino now. So Anita jumped up, and she did what anyone would do. I'm sorry, he's gone for the day. With that, I get on all fours, and I'm crawling out the other side as teachers are coming in, stepping over me to their mailbox. She's still telling this parent what's going on. My favorite story was the end of the year. It was graduation in the evening, and this parent is screaming at Anita. She's saying, I just got the letter. What do you mean if my daughter doesn't bring back Heidi, she doesn't graduate? Well, it took Anita 5 minutes. She knows the language, but not well. 5 minutes to realize Heidi was a book. Finally, after she exhausted every argument with the woman said to her, get me somebody now with half a brain. As I walked in, she says, will Orsino do? know this is a stress-free environment and the parents are never condescending in any way or yelling. But one day, not so rich of a woman, but she's screaming at me because I yelled at her daughter for dress code. So I turned and I put that woman in this place and I yelled. And when she left, I looked at Anita and I said, hey, I'll put that woman in her place. She goes, if she was any slower, she'd be in reverse. What does that mean? Every time I did it, I don't get it. Women's rights. I think Anita, all of us who know her, she's big on that. God forbid you were to tell her to do something. You ask her, could you please type the observation as a week goal? And she would do it. But she loved to bring me coffee if it was in front of people. One time I was having a meeting with Mr. Abramson and Dr. Gisworth. What was the tall guy? Gasworth. No, I love the guy. He's a little tall, but I love him. He's caring. Anyway, she would come in, she interrupted the meeting, and she had a little tray with coffee, cream, and sugar, and she said, sir, to me, where would you like me to put this? She left, I didn't know what to say to them, but I loved it. Many administrators today are off medication when they heard Anita retired. I have to be honest with you, when I left, I was off one of them. During my tenure at Marlboro, I always talked about a bar mitzvah. I said, Anita, I really love one of those. They're absolutely fabulous. And when I left to go to Central Regional, she gave me my bar mitzvah. I don't know if you were there, but it was the best I ever had. And I thank her. I'm surprised she didn't plan her own party, because that's what she does so well. All joking aside, because I know I got to stop speaking. Let me just see. I didn't want to leave anything out. Seriously, she has touched the lives of many people, from students, teachers, and assistant principals. Not above assistant principals, but everybody else, she's touched their lives. Anyone who's come in contact with Anita, you can see by the amount of people that are here, will absolutely miss her. We love her. We wish her well with her grandchildren, her boys, Myron. Many years of happiness, well-deserved retirement. And remember, as the famous scholar said, Dr. Seuss, don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. You are the best. I love you and I will miss you.